Welcome friends to another video, welcome to another list, welcome to the first episode of a different content available on my channel starting today. Because my 12 scented month series is coming to an end, I'm going to post the last episode in the coming days. I decided to remain on the same subject just to change a little bit the things that I'm going to talk about, meaning that I'm going to do 12 months of scented acquisitions. So in this type of content, in this type of mini series that will last for 12 episodes, meaning 1 year, I'm going to show you at every ends month the fragrances that I purchased during that month or the month previously. Therefore, the first episode is dedicated to what I purchased during the month of July. So let's start with the first fragrance. This is actually a re-added fragrance to my collection because I consumed the bottle that I had previously. This is Fico di Amalfi from the house of Acqua di Parma. If you love figs, you really need to have this one in your collection because this is one of the best figs that you can get on the market. Simply amazing during hot seasons, and not only because, as I say in every single video, wear what you want when you want because you like it and you feel happy wearing that fragrance. Fico di Amalfi was the first purchase, or at least it is in this list because they are not in their purchase order. The second one, again, re-added to my collection because I ended the bottle, is Mandorlo di Sicilia. Previously, I had Fico and Mandorlo di Sicilia at 75 ml bottles. Now I bought 150 ml bottles. One of the best fragrances from the house of Acqua di Parma. This is a monster on me, very long-lasting, amazing performance every single time with Mandorlo di Sicilia. Again, if you love almond, you really need to have Mandorlo di Sicilia in your collection. This is best suited, at least for me, especially in cooler seasons, not in summertime. Next one up, again, re-added as a bigger bottle, is the discontinued gem from the Blue Mediterraneo lineup called Cedro di Taormina, and this is actually my favorite fragrance from the Blue Mediterraneo lineup, and one of my top fragrances from the house of Acqua di Parma. Amazing creation. If you love citruses, this is an amazing, beautiful blend, especially combined with that cedar, is simply gorgeous. Also very good performing, especially great during spring and summer, but also in fall. I wouldn't say it works miracles in winter time, especially in extreme low temperatures, but I do enjoy wearing it also in winter time. My favorite from the Blue Mediterraneo lineup. This one is a new acquisition to the collection, again from the house of Acqua di Parma. Actually, this I bought or better said, during my holiday. This is Colonia Concentré Sandalo. Such an amazing and underrated fragrance. This is not what you expect. This is not what you think it is. This is a powerful citrus bomb combined with sandalwood, with a very beautiful creamy sandalwood. But the citruses inside this one are simply to die for. I highly recommend you get your nose on Colonia Concentré Sandalo. Very good performance at the same time. I have no issues with the fragrances made by Acqua di Parma. Next one up, again, re-added to my collection because I sold all the bottles that I previously owned. And to be frank with you, I kind of missed it and I regretted selling everything, but well, I'm happy that I re-added it to my collection. This is Lalique Ombre Noir, the beautiful, beautiful gem from the house of Lalique. Such an underrated house, such underrated creations, but this one especially. This is amazing. Pure and simple. You got figs, mint, woods, cognac, actually brandy, leather, woody accords. There's a lot going on with this fragrance, and the performance is simply outstanding. This is one of my favorite all-time fragrances. And if this would have been sold by a different brand, especially by a niche house, you would have paid top money to get your nose on this one. Ombre Noir, I'm so happy I have it back in my collection. And this time around, I'm not going to sell it. I'm just going to decant a couple of milliliters, but that's it. Next one up, bought again during my holiday, is this fragrance from Paco Rabanne called Ultra Red Man. The new hype king, if you want, in the fragrance community on YouTube and whatnot. Don't get me wrong, the fragrance isn't bad. As I said it already in my review, it isn't a bad fragrance. It doesn't smell bad. just that it gets compared with something that's truly great called Ultrazest from Mugler. And it doesn't share anything with Ultrazest when it comes to how it smells. Yes, it does share a couple of ingredients, a couple of notes, but that's it. They don't smell the same, they don't perform the same, and they are definitely not at the same quality level when it comes to the notes and the blend. It's a good fragrance, but it isn't great. It's a good fragrance, but it doesn't even come close to what Ultrazest is. And it especially does not perform like Ultrazest and especially smell like Ultrazest. Nonetheless, not bad, but not great either. Next one up, a very, very cheap fragrance that's very, very good for summertime. Not only, this is from the house of Jovan and it's called Platinum Musk. Sometimes cheap fragrances can be great, and I don't know if you can find something cheaper than the house of Jovan, actually. Maybe Mirurgia or something like that, something in the line of Mirurgia, for example. Jovan is a very cheap, affordable designer house, but they have some really, really great offerings. The most noticeable one is called White Musk, which I highly encourage you to give it a try. This one comes close to White Musk. Very nice, very refreshing, very good for summer heat, and it's very cheap. I paid for this bottle about €8, something like this. Next one up from the house of Penhaligons is this crazy fruity fragrance called Malaba. Very nice fragrance, especially if you love fruity fragrances. It has quite the composition. You have a lot of fruity accords, floral accords also. This is a unisex fragrance. Most definitely females will love this fragrance, but I do dare to say that a man can pull this off without any problem. That is why I actually bought it, because I simply love fruity fragrances. And you have in this one a very, very well done raspberry note. So if you love raspberry, go ahead and sniff Malaba from the house of Penhaligons. Such a beautiful British house. I simply love their creations. This is one of the 8 or 9 bottles that I have in my collection from this house. It's such an amazing and underrated house. Let's go to the house of Guerlain, re-add it to the collection because I sold it. This is L'Homme Sport, and this is one of the most underrated aquatic fragrances ever created. I've said it so many times throughout the years that I'm getting sick at repeating it. This is one of the best, if not top 3, at least for me, when it comes to aquatic fragrances. The beautiful accord created by almond and watery notes is simply amazing, uplifting, refreshing, invigorating, clean, elegant, masculine at the same time, and it's something that you really wish to feel on a hot summer day. And not only because this one, believe it or not, works miracles even in wintertime at extreme low temperatures. L'Homme Sport, such an amazing creation, very underrated. I've seen that recently people started to rediscover the House of Guerlain, and especially this fragrance, but mostly the next one, which I've been saying for about 3 years already in my videos, that it got discontinued. This is, of course, L'Homme Cologne, which everybody hated a couple of years ago, and suddenly, right now, everybody's loving it. It's getting a lot of love on YouTube, on this platform. It's getting a lot of, let's say, praising, if you want. It's so great, it's so good, it's so fine. This coming out from the mouth, from the same mouth that a couple of years ago was bashing this fragrance, saying that it isn't good, that it doesn't smell great, and so on and so forth. I really like how people turn to 180 degrees during a very short period of time. I love the hypocrisy. Yeah. L'Homme Cologne re-added to my collection. I had 2 bottles. I sold them both. And when it started to magically disappear from the market, I decided to pull the trigger and go ahead and purchase another bottle just to have it in my collection for those days when I really want to wear it, because the citruses combined with almond in this one are simply amazing. These are some of the best citruses that you can smell. And in some way, it does resemble, if you want, with the interpretation of citruses found in, where is it? Found in this one, in Cedro di Taormina from the House of Acqua di Parma. Creamy citruses. And I simply love creamy citruses. Let's go to the next house. Of course, Mancera. Gold Prestigium, amazing interpretation of agarwood combined with citruses, very long lasting, huge projection, great sillage, an amazing fragrance. I've said it, I'm going to repeat it again. The Prestigium line from the House of Manchera is their best offering when it comes to fragrances. There is nothing above the Prestigium line. Everything sits below this line. You get black Prestigium, gold Prestigium, and also pink Prestigium, which I also have here. But we're going to talk about this one in a different video. Gold Prestigium, a must-have if you love agarwood and citruses. It does share some similarities to me, at least, or to my nose, with my favorite fragrance from the House of Manchera, which is Gold Intensity Wood. Mainly because it's a fresh wood-based fragrance. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, this is craziness in a bottle. Choco Violet. Such an amazing gourmand scent. The only way that I can describe this, I don't know that you will understand or not what I'm going to say, but this to me smells like a Romanian traditional dessert called biscuit salami. Basically, it's salami made out of biscuits with chocolate. This is how it smells, at least in the opening phase. You have dark chocolate, you have violet inside, and the accord is simply amazing. What is also amazing is the performance of this one. This is a monster when it comes to longevity, when it comes to projection, when it comes to sillage. One of the best gourmand fragrances available on the market. I highly recommend you to test it out, and why not to buy a full bottle if you love gourmand fragrances. Next one up is this one, Manchera Lemon Lime, another hype king in the online community. Also, I've seen a lot of people bashing this fragrance, saying that it smells like, I don't know, cleaning solutions or whatnot. No, to me it smells like candied lemon. It's simply amazing. I love how it smells. It's a very creamy, soury, somehow sweet lemon. But I do have one problem with this fragrance, mainly the performance. This might be the only fragrance that I encountered in my life that I'm anosmic to, because otherwise I cannot explain what's happening with this fragrance on me every single time that I wear it. I know how it smells because, of course, I do get the opening when I apply it, but afterwards, basically, I don't really manage to feel anything else, although people around me are sensing the fragrance. That's why I'm saying that in a very curious, peculiar way, I might be anosmic to this one, and I simply hate it because I really love how it smells. That lemon is simply gorgeous. One of the best interpretations of lemon in fragrances. And the last one from Manchera that I purchased last month is this crazy fragrance called Deep Forest. This is so unique, so intriguing, so mesmerizing. It's actually becoming an addiction to me because I cannot stop sniffing this stuff. It's so good. For me. For other people, this might be one of the most obnoxious fragrances they ever smelled in their life. And that's okay. It's their problem. It's not mine. I simply love it. It has nothing to do with the name, Deep Forest. But I do find similarities to a fragrance that I have in my collection that I truly love, that I truly appreciate, from the house of Martin Micallef, called Aqua. And they somehow share some similarities in their interpretation, though every single fragrance has its own path, its own way. But there is something in these two fragrances, something aromatic, something intriguing, that's simply mesmerizing. You really need to smell this one and also to smell Aqua from Martin Micallef to understand what I'm trying to actually say. Nonetheless, amazing creation, one of the best and underrated and unknown fragrances from Manchera, this Deep Forest. I highly recommend you to give it a sniff. Amazing longevity, projection, and sillage. This is a monster, a true monster. I really love it. I actually do. Next one up, from the house of Carolina Herrera, a house that I don't really appreciate, but sometimes I can appreciate some of their stuff, comes 212 Sexy Man. I simply love the bottle, but what I love most is the juice actually inside this bottle, because this is a great fragrance. Great when it comes to performance also, but also in terms of how it smells. This is so beautiful, so sensual, so addictive. If you love vanilla, you're gonna definitely love this fragrance. Also, what surprised me was the amazing performance that I got, because I have two major issues with the House of Carolina Herrera. The first one being that they are very synthetic, their creations are quite synthetic in nature, and the second one being their lack of performance, if you want. But still, there are some exceptions, and this is one of those exceptions. I also have 212 VIP Black, which is also great, and this is the other one. So these are the only two fragrances that I have from the House of Carolina Herrera. Amazing stuff, especially if you love gourmand fragrances, you love date fragrances, I don't know, going out fragrances and whatnot. This 212 Sexy Man. Actually, this time around, the name of the fragrance is accurate regarding to the message that's trying to portray about the one that's wearing it. So kudos to Carolina Herrera. Next one up from the house of Nishane, Safran Colonies. Interesting fragrance, to say the least. Interesting interpretation, interesting flanker, the original Colonies that I also have. But in this one, you get saffron, a spice, that's interpreted in a fresh way, which is very, very interesting, at least to my nose and to me personally. I really like this fragrance, even more because this time around with this one, they improved the performance of this fragrance compared to the original Colonies, which isn't bad, don't get me wrong. It has very good longevity on me, the original Colonies, but it's lacking in projection and sillage. It's basically a skin scent, although it stays on my skin for about 14 hours. This one has the same longevity, but it improves a lot in the projection and the sillage. And this I truly appreciate. I would have preferred the original to be just like this one, but what can I say? You can get everything in life. Nonetheless, amazing creation, very refreshing, very, let's say, energizing if you want, and most definitely one of the most interesting saffron notes in fragrances. I really like Saffron Colonies from Nishane. Let's go further from the House of D Squared, their latest release from the Wood line. This is To Wood. Interesting creation, to say the least. This one, this time, doesn't feature Ambroxan. Happy me. But to me, to my nose, on my skin, this fragrance, together with He Wood cologne, basically come the closest to the original He Wood that was my signature scent for 14 years. Yeah, that was my signature scent for 14 years, up until this year when I decided to sell everything that I have from the old collection of D Squared fragrances. This one smells more likely like D Squared He Wood Intense, the flanker to the original, mainly because this one has silver fur inside and it changes a bit the dynamic of the fragrance. Good performance, good projection, good sillage, very nice smelling. And a fun fact, this one doesn't feature violets, which is basically one of the main ingredients in every single D Squared fragrance. Nonetheless, very, very nice. I highly encourage you to give it a sniff. Then we came to the last two fragrances present in this list of 12 scented months of acquisitions, the month of July, from the house of Quinto Canto this time around, which is basically a house that's owned by Cereria Terenzi, Paolo Terenzi and Tiziana Terenzi, comes Mea Culpa. This is an amazing bottle, first of all. I truly love the design of these bottles from Quinto Canto, but the scent is simply gorgeous. I'm not a big fan of patchouli. It wouldn't make my top 10 favorite notes if I were to pick my favorite notes in fragrances. Nonetheless, the patchouli in this one is simply mind-blowing. This is one of the nicest, one of the best, one of the most incredible patchouli notes that I ever smelled throughout my life. Such a great fragrance. This comes in concentration, extrait de parfum, and you're gonna get a very, very good performance. But if you're a patchouli lover, you do not have any excuse not to have Mea Culpa from Quinto Canto in your collection. This is sublime. And the last one, again from Quinto Canto, this is something quite interesting. I wouldn't say that everybody is going to like this fragrance, but I do enjoy it quite a lot, and this is the reason for which I bought it. Oh my god. This is Ire. Such an interesting creation. I wouldn't say necessarily unique because I've smelled metal in other fragrances. For example, in Serge Lutens Dent de Lait, where you have metal, but in that one you have cold metal, while in this one you have hot metal. I would actually say that in this one, the best way to describe this fragrance is earthy, metallic, aldehydic, and rusty at the same time. Yeah, that's the smell of this fragrance. And believe it or not, it's something I enjoy. It's quite nice, it's quite intriguing. It's definitely quite unique, especially because it doesn't actually resemble with anything else out there. Yes, Dendele from Serge Lutens does have that cold metal accord inside, but it's a different perception compared to the hot metal in this one, or hot iron if you want. And this is truly, truly impressive. I do appreciate what Paolo Terenzi is doing. I love what he's doing with Tiziana Terenzi in the main line, but I also appreciate what he's doing with Quinto Canto, and especially with Giardino Benessere, which is another project from Cereria Terenzi, which is again made by Paolo Terenzi. These are my acquisitions from last month. This is my video, my list, if you want. This is the first episode, as I said, from 12 scented months of acquisition, or for 12 scented, I don't know, months of purchases, whatever you want to call it. A different type of content that I'm going to give you so that you can see what I buy throughout a whole month's period, so that you can come along with me in this journey of mine in the world of fragrances. And I'm going to make these type of videos at the end of every single month, if you want, so that you can see everything that I purchased and I added to my collection during that month that's ending or has ended. In this case, the month of July. But when this month will end, probably in the last day, I'm going to make the list with the fragrances that I bought in August. And I'm just going to say it, we are in 14 August, so we are halfway through this month. And I already have 10 fragrances that I purchased. I don't know how many will be at the end of this month, but it doesn't matter. This is my journey. This is what I like, what I love, what I enjoy to do. And you are all invited aboard to come with me. Thank you for watching. As always, my friends, be safe, be good. Thank you for your attention, for your patience, for your support. And remember, smell good, feel good.